You're lying flat in the tall grass. It's 200,000 BC. The sun is high, the air is shimmering, and about 40 meters away stands an antelope that has no idea you exist yet. Your heart is slamming. Your hand is wrapped around a wooden spear you spent 2 days sharpening with a rock. There's no rifle. There's no scope. There's no grocery store where a bad hunt just means going home hungry instead of dead. There is only you, that animal, and a gap of open ground one of you won't survive. This is the story of how humans became hunters. Not weekend hunters in camouflage, sitting in a tree with a thermos. We're talking about the very first time our ancestors stopped being prey and became the thing other animals feared. And here's the part nobody tells you. For most of that story, we were terrible at it. Because when people picture early humans, they imagine mighty hunters bringing down mammoths. Go back far enough, and the truth is a lot more humbling. Our earliest ancestors weren't apex predators. They sat in the middle of the food chain. Small, slow, clawless, fangless, and very much on the menu. So the real question isn't just when we started hunting. It's how a weak, soft-bodied ape ever climbed to the top of the food chain at all. Let's start with the tools. Because everything begins with a sharp edge. The oldest widely accepted stone tools are around 2.6 million years old, found in Ethiopia. Simple sharp flakes struck off river stones. Alongside them, archaeologists found animal bones covered in cut marks, left when those stone edges scraped meat from bone. That's the smoking gun. 2.5 million years ago, something was using tools to butcher animals. But here's the twist that historians argue about to this day. Butchering an animal does not prove you killed it. And a lot of researchers believe that for a long stretch of prehistory, our ancestors weren't hunters at all. They were scavengers. Picture it. A lion takes down a zebra, eats its fill, and wanders off. The vultures close in, and a group of hungry early humans rushes in, grabs what's left, and cracks the bones open with rocks to reach the one thing nobody else could: the fatty, calorie-rich marrow inside. It's not glamorous. Nobody paints cave murals about stealing scraps from a corpse. But that marrow may have been one of the most important foods in human history, and we'll come back to why. Because this is where the story gets genuinely strange. At some point, our ancestors stopped waiting for other predators to make the kill. They started making it themselves. And the way they may have done it is so bizarre that it changed our entire bodies. Look at yourself for a second. Compared to almost every other animal, you're a mess. You're slow. You have no fur, no claws, weak jaws, and teeth that couldn't tear raw hide if your life depended on it. On paper, you're a laughably bad predator. But you have one hidden superpower that almost no other animal on Earth possesses. You can run for an incredibly long time without stopping. And you can do it in the blistering heat of the day without overheating. This is the endurance running idea, and it might explain why your body looks the way it does. Most animals cool themselves by panting, and a panting animal can't pant and sprint flat out for long. But humans sweat. Millions of sweat glands across bare skin dump heat continuously, even while moving. Add long, springy legs, a spring-loaded Achilles tendon, and a body built for rhythm, and you get an animal that can't win a sprint, but can win a marathon against almost anything. And that opens a terrifying hunting strategy. You don't catch the animal, you follow it. You pick one target and jog after it, hour after hour, in the midday heat, never letting it rest. Every time it bolts and hides, you track it down and start it running again. And slowly its body cooks from the inside, until it collapses from heat stroke and exhaustion, unharmed by you, simply run to death. Some hunter-gatherer groups were still doing exactly this within the last century, chasing antelope across the desert on foot for hours until the animal gave up and died. Think about what that means. Your ancestors may have been the original marathon runners, and the finish line was dinner. But endurance was only half the equation. Because while the body was evolving to chase, the mind was evolving to plan. And this is where hunting stops being about muscle and starts being about the brain. Here's a fact that should stop you. Meat, and especially that fatty marrow, is packed with dense, easy energy. And around 2 million years ago, as our ancestors ate more of it, their brains started to grow. Fast. A big brain is outrageously expensive. Yours burns roughly a fifth of all your energy just sitting there doing nothing. You can't run a brain like that on leaves and raw roots alone. But a diet rich in meat and marrow could fuel it. So there's a haunting feedback loop hidden in our history. We got smarter because we ate meat, and we got better at getting meat because we got smarter. Better tools, better tracking, better teamwork, bigger brains, more meat, and around it went for 1,000,000 years, slowly building the very mind, reading these words right now. In a very real sense, hunting didn't just feed us. It may have helped build us. And then the weapons arrived, and everything escalated. For the longest time, we've had almost no direct evidence of ancient hunting gear, because wood rots and vanishes. Then, in a coal mine in Germany, archaeologists found something that rewrote the timeline. Preserved in waterlogged ground for roughly 300,000 years were wooden spears, carefully carved, balanced, shaped exactly like a modern javelin, built to be thrown. Lying near them were the butchered bones of dozens of horses. These weren't made by modern humans. They were made by an earlier human cousin, and they prove that hundreds of thousands of years ago, our relatives were coordinating group hunts of large, dangerous animals with real weapons. That is not scavenging. That is strategy. From there, the arms race accelerated. Humans invented the spear thrower, a simple lever that turned the arm into a catapult. Then, tens of thousands of years ago, came the true game changer, the bow and arrow. Suddenly, a human could kill from a distance, silently, without ever closing in on the horns or hooves. Every leap in weapons meant less risk to the hunter and more danger to everything else alive. The clawless, slow-footed ape had invented a way to strike from across a clearing. But no single human took down a mammoth alone, and that points to the real secret weapon, the one that mattered more than any spear. Cooperation. Hunting big game required a group that could plan together, communicate silently, split roles, and trust each other completely when a wounded animal the size of a truck turned to charge. It demanded language, patience, and the ability to imagine a plan before it happened. A successful hunt wasn't just a test of strength, it was a test of the whole group's intelligence working as one mind. And when it succeeded, the meat was shared, bonding the group tighter and rewarding the cooperation that made survival possible. Hunting wasn't only how early humans got food. It may have been one of the great engines that taught us to work together at all. Now here's the uncomfortable part of the story. The part that follows us into the present. We got too good at it. For millions of years, giant animals roamed nearly every continent. Mammoths, giant ground sloths, car-sized armadillos, enormous flightless birds. And then, in a geological blink, as modern humans spread across the planet, a staggering number of these giants vanished. The timing is chilling. Again and again, waves of extinction seem to follow humans into new lands. Scientists still debate how much was us and how much was a shifting climate, and the honest answer is probably both tangled together. But the pattern is hard to ignore. The same skill that let a weak, sweaty ape survive may have also wiped out some of the most magnificent creatures that ever lived. The hunter, that once feared everything, eventually became the thing that everything else had to fear. So when did ancient humans first start hunting? The honest answer is that there was never a single day it began. It crept in over millions of years, from cracking marrow out of stolen bones, to running antelope to death under the sun, to carving spears, to loosing arrows across a valley. The best evidence puts serious weapon-based big-game hunting back at least 300,000 years, with the roots of meat-eating and butchery reaching back over 2 million. But the truth underneath all of it is that hunting isn't just something humans did. It may be part of what made us human in the first place. The patience, the planning, the teamwork, the endurance, the strange, bare-skinned body, built to chase. And here's the thread that runs unbroken from that antelope in the tall grass, straight to you. Every time you push through exhaustion on a long run, every time a group plans something together and pulls it off, every time you feel that deep satisfaction of a shared meal after hard work, you are echoing something ancient. Your ancestors won a war against faster, stronger, deadlier animals, and they won it not with claws, but with sweat, patience, and each other. You are the descendant of the ones who didn't give up the chase. And somewhere deep in your body, in your legs, in your lungs, in your stubborn refusal to quit, that ancient hunter is still running.